here at ARC, and I'm with Katharine Birbalsingh, the strictest headmistress with the best school in Britain, many say, Michaela, the academy, consistently brilliant results. And yet we've still got this really difficult conversation in Britain about education, haven't we? I mean, where do you see things at the moment?
Well, I'm worried because the Education Secretary is pushing a bill through Parliament at the moment that will change things for school leaders and for academies across the country, removing various freedoms that we've got, and they're only little freedoms, to be able to give a bespoke and tailored approach to our intakes. Obviously, a school in inner city Wembley, ours, is very different to a school out in the Cotswolds and a school up in Hull. And school leaders need to be able to retain these freedoms to do what's best for their kids. She, on the other hand, wants to centralize power in the state. She wants control. It really is a grab for power and taking away the small little freedoms we've got. And look, I believe in state education. Obviously, I've worked in it all my life. But the way it's done best and the way in which we have now risen through the international league tables, we've gone from 21st in maths to 7th. We've gone from 29th in science to 19th. We've really moved up. And in fact, we're considered to have the best reading scores in the Western world. This is England as a country. Compare that to Scotland and Wales, where things have plummeted because they haven't given their schools the freedoms that the last 15 years, and the Conservative government, it has to be said, gave us those freedoms. Bridget Phillipson, sadly, is wanting to take those away and will succeed if this bill goes through Parliament.
So what would you like to see happen in terms of the challenge to that? Obviously, you're arguing and articulating those points. Together, we think what the public can do is really essential. How do you see that in the mix of impacting things?
Well, the difficulty for the public is that they don't have any idea what's on this bill. And the details, it would take me a long time to explain them all about why it is we need those freedoms. And so families don't realize. And the thing is, we won't see it for years. If the bill goes through, the changes will be made across the system, and education, it takes a long time to see the impact. I mean, look, have a look at letters. I wrote Bridget Phillipson 2 letters, open letters. You can have a look at those. They've both been published in The Spectator. There are other school leaders who have spoken out, and they've written about the disaster that's going to happen. They can write to Bridget Phillipson herself, although I have to say she's not listening. Their official position at the Department for Education is Bridget Phillipson does not need to hear from anyone on these matters because she's lived it. She has been to school. So she genuinely believes, because she went to school in Sunderland, that makes her an expert on our school system.
And I suppose this speaks to the question of the 3 days here about the civilizational question and education being so fundamental and paramount in those foundations. It's like a question about barbarism without being overly dramatic, right? So I suppose just popularising the idea of some of these things. I think we should have more debates and discussions, and maybe we could get you on for a Zoom and another panel. But it really speaks to the heart of it, doesn't it? Some of these things we're seeing in education.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're saying is right. People don't realize the importance of schools. I think families often get interested in schools when their child is in year 6 and they're desperate to get them into the school that they want for secondary. And then once their child is in a school, even if the school wasn't their school of their choice, they sort of shrug their shoulders and they think, well, a school's a school. But honestly, your child will be a different person at 18, depending on which school you send them to. Your child ends up spending more time at school than they do with you. So the people they meet for their peers, their friends, the teachers, the curriculum, so much of that influences children. And I just wish people could understand, not just for your own child, but for the sake of the country, schools shape the culture of any country. And if we're really serious about saving our civilization and finding again the values that prop up the West, we very much need to understand the power of schools.
Just the final thing, I mean, we talked about it before, but you've shown a lot of courage in the face of some really significant adversity. What would your message be to other people in terms of speaking out, saying what they see, having courage in those situations?
Well, don't think about it, just do it. That's what I find. I find I'm compelled in the moment to do whatever is right, and so I do it. And then later, well, there are some consequences sometimes, but you only have one life. You might as well live it.
Fantastic. Katharine Birbalsingh, thank you very much.